It's gone.
You both know what's at stake here.
There isn't much road left.
Take the bloody shot.
The name's Douchebag. Mega Douchebag. Oh guys, it feels good to be back after 2 weeks of not having access to my camera. I make another return after being absent for a while, the last video, so I can honestly say that I will not be gone for a long time again. And now I'm going to make up for it because I'm going to be seeing a lot of movies, and I'm going to be seeing a lot of movies early in the next, but from now till the end of the year, so I'm definitely going to try to make up for that. But here is my late review for Skyfall, and I didn't even have any, good James Bond glasses, so I had to wear my douche mode glasses. I haven't seen a lot of the other James Bond movies. I've seen bits and pieces of a few of them. I dig some of the Sean Connery ones, even though they're stupid. I mean, all the other ones are kind of stupid in that cheesy, campy sort of way. But the Daniel Craig movies, I think everyone likes because they kind of took the Batman approach, but they took it a little bit less dark than the Batman, but they really just kind of took the character seriously. And this movie is my favorite James Bond movie, Casino Royale. I love it. I think it's one of the most rewatchable movies I have in my collection, and it's my favorite James Bond movie. Quantum of Solace, I think, left everyone a little bit cold, but now we have Skyfall, which is directed by Sam Mendes, and is the third film in the Daniel Craig series of James Bond. And I don't want to go too much into the story of this one because there's a lot of little neat surprises and little cool things in this one. But let's just say a mission in the beginning goes wrong, and this leaves James Bond out of commission for a little bit. So he has to come back due to a little problem with M, Judi Dench's character, and how maybe someone from her past could definitely bring a lot of danger into their present. So James Bond has to kind of go fight with M for her personal battles, and James Bond kind of has to learn to be James Bond again, aka James Bond Rises. There's a lot of hype going into this movie because a lot of people said, oh, it's as good as Casino Royale, it's the best James Bond ever, and a lot of people have either said, it's either Casino Royale or this is the best James Bond. And while I still say Casino Royale is the best James Bond movie, this is definitely a close second. This is by far, I would say, the darkest James Bond movie that has ever been made. Even though I haven't seen all of the other James Bond movies, I can definitely say that this is by far the darkest. That they take the character into there's a few places that I wasn't expecting, and I really enjoyed, and they took some risks in this one. Performances are all great. James Bond, Daniel Craig is obviously fantastic. M's great. There's a lot more of her in this one. This is definitely focused on M in this movie. They've got new additions like Q, who's also very good. But to me, the scene stealer in this one is the bad guy, played by Javier Bardem. He's a very flamboyant villain, definitely one of I think the first gay James Bond villain, but he is still extremely intimidating, and Javier Bardem just gives him these little, quirks, and they're really scary, but at the same time really entertaining. I thought he was a really intimidating villain. Even though if he wanted to touch James Bond genitalia more than he wanted to blow up the world. The action in this one is very well shot. Sam Mendes, who directed this film, the only other film I think I've seen from him is Road to Perdition, and that's that's a really good looking movie. And this movie looks really good, but he doesn't do the shaky cam ass crap that was Quantum of Solace. Like, if you watch the opening scene of this movie and the opening scene of Quantum of Solace, it looks like the director of Quantum of Solace took a bunch of speed pills and decided to direct that film, because this movie is very well shot, both just the scenery and the actual look of the film is good, but the fight scenes are very well choreographed. There you can actually see what's going on, and there's one of my favorite action set pieces is actually just this whole cool fight scene, but it's all in silhouette. And even though you can't really see what's happening, it still looks 10 times better and a lot more cooler than that shaky cam crap that's going on nowadays. The movie is pretty action-packed throughout, and it's never boring at all. And that's saying a lot because 2.5 hours, I think this movie is. I think it's about 2:20, 2:30, and the pacing of this movie is beautiful. You're never bored. It moves along at a swift pace. I can't even believe that it was almost 2.5 hours because it feels like it's barely even at 2 hours. I think that's the one thing that this movie does better than Casino Royale, is that it's paced better. Casino Royale, the poker scenes did drag on a little bit in that film, and I also think that Casino Royale had a lot weaker villain. But this movie does those two things very well, and it's really just paced perfectly, and it's definitely going to go by in a flash. And while the movie is dark, it does have a lot of tongue-in-cheek moments. They make a lot of references to old Bond movies in this one, showing that James Bond can be taken seriously and dark, but you can still have a little fun with the character. He does, he's James Bond. He's not, going to be Schindler's List. I mean, they really do that well. I think that helps the pacing a lot because it's not just brooding. There's a lot of cool, clever, subtle moments in here that are quite funny, so well done, guys. And I would say my favorite thing about Skyfall is one of the big themes in this movie is, having the relevance of having field agents and MI6, and this movie really does make James Bond relevant. I love that they kind of question that in this movie, and most of the terrorism or, bad stuff that happens is through cyber terrorism, and they really do play on the fact that why do we need agents if most of the damage that can be done just by a simple computer. And I love that. I think one of the reasons why this is the best James Bond movie, or one of the best James Bond movies, is because of that reason, and I think that was a fantastic aspect that they brought up. I have to say this movie has probably the best opening credits and best theme song of a James Bond movie ever. Skyfall by Adele is perfect. I thought that when they cast Adele for doing the theme song, that was a perfect choice, and it's my favorite James Bond theme, and I've seen the movie twice now, and the theme is still one of my favorite parts of the movie for sure. I love it. I think the only problem I really have with this movie is that the last 20 minutes of this movie, they do something that caught me off guard, and I didn't expect it. It makes a lot more sense, and I enjoyed it a lot more the second time I saw it, but it deviates from the typical Bond formula, and it does something that I really wasn't expecting just because it was quite a different thing for them to do. I'm not going to say what it is, but it was a little jarring, and I was kind of bummed at first, but I did like it a little bit more the second time. But that's really the only problem I have with Skyfall at all, really. Overall, this is probably my favorite James Bond. Besides Casino Royale, it's a fantastic movie. I would say it's probably one of my favorites of the year. I would say it's a great James Bond movie, a great action movie, but it's not overall a great movie. I would just say it's a really good movie just because of that last 20 minutes for me, and there was never really reached that moment of greatness, even though there's a lot of great stuff in here. So that's why James Bond Skyfall 007 gets a 4 stars out of 5 rating for me. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm glad to be back, and stay tuned because I will be getting a lot of early reviews for you guys. So thanks. See you guys later.